Hey y'all, welcome to our self-myofascial releases video, SMR for short. This video is going to focus on the benefits of SMR, how to do SMR, the different ways you can conduct SMR with a foam roller or a tennis ball. But SMR stands for self-myofascial release. And so it focuses on the neurological and the physical systems of the body that can be negatively influenced by poor posture, repetitive movements, or dysfunctional movements. So these are mechanically stressful actions that can injure the body and initiate the process called cumulative injury cycle. So when there's pressure of the body, like a foam roller, that is sustained by a trigger point, the Golgi tendon organ in your muscle will turn off and basically allow your muscle fibers to stretch, unknot, and realign to reduce the number of muscle imbalances you have. A muscle imbalance is when a muscle that is usually should share the weight and tension and responsibility, one side is working way harder than the other, and that side is going to be tight and overactive. The weakened muscle becomes loose and your muscles are fighting to basically give 50-50 to the muscle when one part of the muscle is doing 70 and the other part of the muscle is doing 30. And that equals out to altered muscle ability. So what we're going to be doing today for self-myofascial release is using a foam roller. And basically, of course, just like I said, it corrects muscle imbalances, improves muscle relaxations, improves joint range of motion, improves neuromuscular efficiency, reduce soreness, improve tissue recovery, everything that we're going to be doing to kind of make micro tears in those muscles by exercising, by lifting weights. We're going to be able to reduce soreness and increase the speed at which your muscles recover by using SMR. And basically decreasing the overall effects of stress on the human movement system. So foam rolling should always be done before static or dynamic stretching activities. We always do dynamic stretching before we exercise. This is getting the heart rate up a little bit, moving the body, and we're not holding that same pose for more than like 1 or 2 seconds. Static stretching we do after a workout. This is when we do our cool down stretching, and we're holding that stretch for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds at a time. And basically, this is going to help improve by doing this before static or dynamic stretching, improving the tissue's ability to lengthen for these stretching activities. It can also be done as a part of a cool down workout. And so you can do it before you work out, before active stretching, and after your cool down, after static stretching. So most people like to foam roll alone after you get home from work, or right before you go to bed, or right before when you get into the gym, right before you work out. But it's not appropriate for everyone, including people that have congested heart failure, kidney failure, any organ failure, bleeding disorders of any kind, or contagious skin conditions, because these are porous. So just keep that in mind if foam rolling is right for you. Also, if you have any medical issues, please consult with your doctor, seek medical advice before you start foam rolling. But basically, foam rolling, you should slowly roll the targeted area until you find the most tender spot. And then once you find that most tender spot, you're going to hold that spot while trying to relax your system and hold that spot for 30 seconds to 90 seconds until that discomfort reduces. So let's meet on the mat. We are going to start the top foam rolling exercise from the National Academy of Sports Management, where I have my certified personal training certification from. The first one is going to be your gastrocnemius and your soleus. So basically all of your calves. So we're going to start seated. And the foam roller, this is like a mini one. You can have a large foam roller, or you can use like a little tennis ball. I highly recommend a bigger foam roller. A tennis ball is good in a pinch, but if you use an actual foam roller, it has more surface area, and you can be able to roll more of your muscles quicker than rolling them with a smaller surface area like a tennis ball. So seated, we're going to have our hands behind us. Our right leg is going to go onto the foam roller. The left leg is going to crisscross over it. And we are going to lightly and gently push ourselves forward and bring ourselves back on the foam roller, pushing on our calf and our gastrocnemius or soleus. And once we find a tender spot, I'm going to lower myself down and we're going to hold here for 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. My technique for breathing when it gets painful on a difficult spot is in through the nose, out through the mouth. And it's not going to feel great, and it shouldn't feel incredibly painful, but it should feel tight. And you should be able to know the difference from what feels tight and what feels pain. Pain comes from when you have an injury, such as a strain or a muscle pull. If you're sore, you should feel uncomfortable and a little bit of tension, but that should just be soreness. All right. Then I like to give it a couple rollouts afterwards, switching legs. So the left leg comes on, the right foot comes over, and I'm moving it back and forth along my calf, along my soleus, trying to find a spot. Oop, there it is. And it might be different depending on the leg. One side, if you're right foot dominant and you're going up the stairs, might feel a little bit more tight and more sore than your left foot or your left calf. It just depends on any muscle imbalances like I was talking about, or if you are more dominant with one foot to the other. And remember, 30 to 90 seconds, and this might feel like a long period of time, and I won't hold in the video for 30 to 90 seconds for every single SMR rollout, but just know that you should have like a little clock on you or do a mental count on 30 to 90 seconds because that's where you reap the most benefit. Awesome, and release. So the next one with our foam roller, we are going to be doing the adductors. This is the inside of your leg. So adductors, you're adding together. If you ever see those machines in the gym where you push your legs together like this, I always remember adducting is adding together. And then your abductors is when you're spreading your legs apart. Adductors together. So your adductors, you're going to be on the mat and your forearms are going to be on the mat. Just like this, you're going to bring your foam roller to the inside of your thigh, parallel. So I have mine on the inside of my left thigh, and your forearms are going to be on the mat, and you're just going to feel around here in your adductor on your left side first for any tension and a point where you want to hold. And we're going to hold here, and then we're going to switch sides. Remember to breathe. Allowing your muscles to relax as much as they can. And I know this isn't 30 seconds, but switching sides, we are going to have the foam roller in the inside of our right adductor, inside of our right thigh, moving it around and holding whenever something feels tight or you have tension. Next is going to be TFL, your tensor fascia latae. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I always just say TFL for short. Your TFL is going to be the outside of your hip, basically. And this is a fairly large muscle. So you're going to put the foam roller down, your left hand or your left forearm is going to go to the mat, and you're going to use your right foot as a little bit of a balance. And you're going to be moving back and forth on the outside of your right hip. It might feel kind of funny at first, but you'll feel where you're tight and tense. And I guarantee it's probably your TFL because everyone, including me, doesn't give our TFL a little bit that much love when it comes to stretching and working it out wide. So I feel a spot right there. I'm going to hold. And we're going to bring it around. So opposite side on this guy. Right hip down, right forearm on the ground, right leg comes back, left foot forward, moving it. Woo, this one's way worse than the other side. You can give a couple of rolls first and then find that spot where you're holding the most amount of tension, the most amount of discomfort. So while you hold there, I'm going to move on to our next body part that we are going to be stretching. This one's going to be the piriformis. You're going to sit on the top of your foam roller. So we are going to be back on the mat, seated. There we go. Careful, make sure you're holding on to something. The left arm is going to come back, okay? The right foot is going to come forward, and the left leg is going to come over the right. And we're going to be moving kind of at the base of our glutes and back up. Ooh, and figure out where it feels any discomfort and hold. Switching sides, left leg comes out, right arm comes back, right leg comes up and over, and we're moving back and forth. And some parts might not feel tender at all, and that's great, but at least moving them, right? Next, we're moving to our upper body. This is going to be the latissimus dorsi. So we are going to lie with one arm on the side. Our arm closest to the ground is going to be outreached with our thumb facing up. And we're going to place the foam roller under the arm right by our armpit. And we're going to slowly roll back and forth and find the tender spot, okay? So let me demo that right now. So thumb up to the sky, bringing our arm out, and you're going to hold here. And you'll feel it. If you move just slightly, you'll feel it on your lat. And usually your lats are pretty tight. And you're going to hold and do the opposite side. The next, we are going to be kind of in a crunch position. So feet on the floor. The foam roller is going underneath our back. We're lifting our glutes in the air, and our hands are kind of crisscrossed on our shoulders, rolling back and forth. Okay? A lot of people have lower back pain. A lot of lower back pain comes from a weak core because of that muscle imbalance, right? Our core is weak, so our back is tight and painful. Oh, that feels good. And then remember to hold for 30 to 90 seconds. And that's going to be for the thoracic spine. So those are just a few exercises you can do with foam rollers. You can always look online, like foam rolling sequences, and it'll give you a list of exercise or stretches you can do with your foam roller. But remember, the most important part of self-myofascial release, SMR, is holding that tender spot for 30 to 90 seconds. I know it's an added step into your routine. And I understand that it's hard for me when I go to the gym with 45 minutes. I don't want to add that extra step, but adding this extra step will help your body recover faster. It will help your muscle imbalances, and it will improve circulation and all the things that I talked about, the good benefits in the beginning. But take some of this time for yourself after you watch this tutorial on how to self-myofascial release, and do some SMR at home, even once a day or once a week. Start with little bits and then work your way up. Even if you just foam roll your whole body and feel a couple of different places that are tender, hold on those points. It doesn't have to be a 10, 20-minute sequence. It can be a 5-minute sequence if you'd like, but remember to hold those points for 30 to 90 seconds. And I really hope this helps with your Stadium Stair Challenge and getting your muscles recovered quickly so you can go back into that next workout. Especially, I highly recommend doing your soleus and your gastrocnemius, doing your calves, because the exercise, the physical activity of going up those stairs, especially if you're landing more on your toe than you are on the middle of your foot, your calves are going to be sore. They're going to be tight, and doing SMR will help with that tightness and that soreness. But we'll see you here next time. Have a great week, y'all.